Level 1, disrespect. This is the most bitter kind of retirement because it isn't caused by age, losses, or decline. It's caused by neglect. Fighters at this level did everything right inside the cage, but were never treated like stars outside of it. Their greatness wasn't flashy enough, controversial enough, or profitable enough for the machine. The clearest example is Demetrious Johnson. He dominated his division with historic consistency, breaking records and embarrassing challengers, yet the UFC repeatedly failed to promote him. His fights were buried, his pay lagged behind his accomplishments, and instead of a retirement fight or a farewell event, he was traded away like an asset. There was no tribute, no celebration, no acknowledgement that fans were watching one of the greatest fighters ever. Level 1 exists because MMA sometimes doesn't reward excellence, it rewards attention. Level 2, disappointment. This level exists when a fighter's ability was never the problem, the ending was. Fighters at Level 2 had everything: talent, dominance, championships, and history on their side. What they didn't have was closure. Their retirement feels unsatisfying, not because they failed, but because the story stopped in the wrong place. Jon Jones defines this level. For years, he held the heavyweight division hostage, teasing a return while contenders waited and time passed. Fans were promised a new chapter, but instead got silence. When his retirement was finally announced, it wasn't even done by him. Dana White revealed it during a UFC press conference, with no retirement fight, no farewell event, and no chance for fans to properly process the end of a historic career. For someone many consider the most talented fighter ever, the ending felt cold and incomplete. Level 2 is disappointment, because greatness deserves a better goodbye. Level 3, uncertain. Level 3 is retirement without resolution. It's the limbo where a fighter never fully commits to being done, but never truly comes back either. This creates a strange legacy where time stands still. Conor McGregor lives permanently in this level. Multiple retirements, injuries, long layoffs, and endless comeback teases have blurred the line between active and retired. Years pass without a fight, yet no final announcement ever sticks. Fans don't know whether to move on or keep waiting. His legacy is suspended in question marks, not finished, not evolving, just paused. Level 3 isn't about decline, it's about uncertainty slowly eroding relevance. The longer the silence lasts, the harder it becomes to return to the same level of meaning. Level 4, please. This is the most painful level of all. Level 4 happens when fans stop wanting more fights and start wanting safety. It's the stage where loyalty turns into concern and admiration turns into fear. Tony Ferguson represents this level in the most heartbreaking way. After years of violence, chaos, and legendary performances, his decline came suddenly and brutally. Loss after loss, damage after damage. Fans weren't angry, they were pleading. Comment sections filled with the same message: please retire. Not because he wasn't respected, but because he was loved. Level 4 is where MMA shows its darkest side. The sport doesn't stop legends from hurting themselves, and the fans are left hoping the fighter realizes it before it's too late. Level 5, important. This level is about fighters whose retirement changes the sport, even if they were never crowned as the greatest of all time. These fighters are not remembered for perfection, but for presence. They were always there, in title fights, in wars, in main events, in moments that defined an era. Their value isn't measured by belts alone, but by how much the division leaned on them. Dustin Poirier is the perfect example of a Level 5 retirement. He wasn't undefeated. He wasn't protected. He fought everyone, everywhere, at every stage of his career. Contenders had to go through him. Champions had to prove themselves against him. That's why the UFC gave him his own event for a retirement fight, because his career mattered structurally to the division. When fighters like Poirier retire, the division doesn't just lose a name, it loses its emotional center. The rankings still exist, the belts still move, but something feels missing. Level 5 fighters are the backbone of eras, and when they leave, fans feel the absence immediately. Level 6, legendary. This level represents control. It's about fighters who didn't just dominate, they managed their legacy. They knew when to walk away, when to return, and when to finally close the book. Very few fighters ever get this right because it requires discipline beyond fighting skill. Georges St. Pierre is the blueprint. He retired as champion when the pressure, damage, and expectations became overwhelming. He walked away before decline forced him out. Years later, when the timing was right and the motivation was clear, he returned, moved up in weight, won another world title, and then retired again, permanently. That second retirement mattered. It gave fans closure. There were no questions left, no what-ifs, no begging for one more fight. Level 6 is legendary because it shows mastery not just of opponents, but of time, ego, and temptation. Fighters at this level don't let the sport take from them. They decide when the story ends. Level 7, Peak. This is the rarest level in MMA history. Level 7 isn't just retirement, it's escape. It happens when a fighter leaves before decline, before damage, before desperation. There are no losses to explain away, no comebacks to debate, and no doubts about whether they stayed too long. Khabib Nurmagomedov reached this level doing what almost no fighter can do, walking away with everything intact, undefeated, dominant, champion, respected, emotionally fulfilled. He didn't wait for fans to turn on him. He didn't wait for the sport to humble him. He didn't chase money, legacy fights, or attention. He left at the exact moment when staying would only risk taking something away. Level 7 is powerful because it denies the sport its usual ending. MMA almost always takes something back. Khabib didn't allow that.